switch your camera on, and in the bottom right, in the right-hand corner, where it's of the presentation screen, you can actually flip out a presentation view, use the arrow pointing into the rectangle, and then go into gallery mode. Okay, let's try this. So we go into gallery mode. Let's go into gallery view, and we can see each other. I know Donald's got his camera off, camera on, Anki's got her camera on. So if you can switch your camera on if you're willing to do that. Okay, and I see, let's just see if anyone else has got a camera here. Oh, Mark's left the session. Hope he comes back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my camera on as well, and I'm going to make a gesture. We don't have permission. Okay, is my camera on now? No, apparently there's no permission to share my video on this one. Share video. Let's try once more.
Johnny, if you're struggling with your camera, if you go to the settings, right on the bottom right of your screen,
okay,
gear icon, just below the text audio and video settings, there is a place where you can click to set up your camera and your microphone. Just
Yep. Okay, here we go. Share vid. Here we are, folks. Okay, fine. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, so we'll try a little bit of embodied exercise here. So I'll make a gesture, and if you want to copy me, so I'll make a gesture like this. If you want to copy that gesture, okay. And then I'm going to pass it on to Madeline, if you can make a gesture for us. Okay, so what we've done is we've actually used gesture as a way of having an embodied interaction and means of a little bit of connection with each other. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the presentation now. Okay, sorry, Granny Setswa. I mean, to hope these things will get sorted out. You know, it doesn't always work. So we had our little embodied moment. And let's move on from there quickly. And then there's another concept, which is embodied cognition, which is we know and we gather knowledge through our bodies as well. Okay, so Macrean and Fugate in their 2022 book, in the introduction, say a learner's body plays a significant causal or physically constitutive role in cognitive processing. So we are learning things through our body, and we are processing with our bodies as well. And you know, some people use the analogy of an animal that does it even more is the octopus, which distributes its brain through its tentacles also. Okay, and some of the forms of embodied cognition they talk about. So like when you're doing finger counting, when you're saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a lot of people, even as adults, still do some finger counting. Facial expression, gesture, active learning is embodied interaction and cognition. Making things, physically making things, alternative reality, virtual reality, and learning through observation, also forms of embodied cognition. And Macrean and Fugate go far enough to say that if we are interacting through devices, through our computers, through our cell phones, etc., that we are extending our bodies and our embodied cognition into those spaces as well. And then we move on to make that leap to dance as embodied learning. And you'll note that all of the graphics that I'm using here have been generated using an AI graphics system called DALL-E3, also developed by the same people who made ChatGPT. Okay, Anderson talked about dance and movement therapy used for students with learning disabilities, etc. And the report was that students who participated over a 1-month period showed improved performance in maths, dance, arts, and social emotional dimensions of learning. So even over 1 month, they were able to show those kinds of results. Okay, and then moving on to Antilla, who is doing some research and teaching with immigrants, young children immigrants in Finland, and found that the fleeting encounters may have created a space of not yet knowing, or a third space where something new may emerge. And this is a space where people could engage intersubjectively between themselves without having to use lots of words as well. Okay, and this is another image generated by DALL-E 3 about dance as a part of learning. And we could also possibly consider dance as a way of thinking. What I found some years ago when studying some courses in Oslo was that the way I thought about an essay in philosophy of education changed radically when I'd gone to a biodanza workshop during the weekend, and I found I was able to engage with the conceptual issues a lot more creatively, a lot more flexibly as I moved into writing the essay. Here we have a reference by Gorofsky to a dance educator who basically moves into dance and gets people dancing mathematics. It initially feels a bit more like calculation and arithmetics, but she profoundly gets people dancing mathematical relationships. And there's a reference to when she started using an ocean beach as a space to rehearse. And she thought, let's use the body to calculate the tides. Because we can use our bodies to try and simulate the relative movements of the moon, the earth, and the sun. And I think that's a pretty interesting way of using movement and dance. From the media, we have lots of examples. We have an example of a teacher in Ghana who gets students dancing to help them with memorization and confidence. We have an example of a teacher in Kenya who uses song and dance to teach his classes. I found an example of a teacher in Kraaifontein in Cape Town who uses rap to help his students develop confidence, but also learn things like their times tables. This is just a standard part of the way that this person teaches. We're not going to open up those vids now because of time. And then one last point in this presentation really is about dance and decolonization. A quote here about using dance and other approaches to undo the silencing nature of colonialism. And I've seen other references to people teaching particular kinds of approaches used in Nigeria, where dance is also a very important part of how people can empower themselves as learners. Okay, so I'm going to go back to gallery view, and if you can put in your camera, I'm not guaranteeing this, if you're able to do that, then let's do our own high fives to the camera. Okay, just as another way of noticing each other and connecting with each other. Okay, notice it takes a little while to get a camera on here. So we've got Irene, we've got Eugenie, we've got me. Anyone else? Okay, fine. Thank you very much, everybody. Because where are we going next? Next, we have this workshop which is coming up. The Dance of Learning and Teaching, largely led by Irene, coming up after a very short break. I think we're running a little bit late on this one, aren't we?
Yeah, we are running a little bit late, Tony, but I think let's say that we will start. Will it fit everyone if we say we start at 11:30 instead of 11:25? Is that okay? So then it's only a 5 minute later. We are going to go out of this session and then into the next session by clicking on the link on the program. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Yes, so then we'll see you there.
Perhaps just for the participants, if you've had your program open this whole morning, just refresh that link again, please, before you sign on to the next session.
Bye, everyone. See you on the other side.
See you on the far side. Cheers.
Yes.
Bye.